Hi fashion lovers, today the easiest way to achieve this gown, the easiest way. Now this gown has been trending, okay, and this particular one is from Total Ninja Women, one of our collections. All right, now the easiest way to achieve this, a beginner can go about it easily. As a beginner, you can, with this method, you can sew it easily. All right, so let's go. And please, if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. All right, now like I usually say, always use your pattern paper. Okay, it costs less and it doesn't rather you learn more with it. Now this is the calculation I'm working with. Shoulder 16, bust 38, waist 30, half length 16, under bust 13, shoulder to be by blouse length, or shoulder to your lower waist, or shoulder to your upper hip. These are the calculation you need. Now, what do I mean by shoulder to your blouse length? What I mean by that is from your shoulder, you see that fitted part, the ending of it, you need that measurement to know where it ends. Okay, that is why I use blouse length to classify it. Okay, so for my own measurement, it is 25. This particular dress is a client's order and I'll be cutting it. I'll be on live stream while making this dress. Okay, so you get your pattern paper. The first thing you mark is your under bust. The fitted part of this dress started from the under bust. Look at it very well. Under bust. That is the first thing you mark. The next thing you need to mark is indicate your waist. All right. You need to know where your waist is. That is your half length. The next thing is that shoulder to blouse length. That is, you need to know where the fitted part ends. Okay. You need to know where the fitted part ends. All right. That is the next thing you mark, and for my calculation, it is 25. Okay. Now, these are the three basic lines you need for this dress. With this pattern, it is very easy for you to sew, even as a beginner. Okay. Very, very easy. Now, you have marked out the necessary three lines, which you need. All right. Once you mark them out, you start marking out your measurement. All right. Now remember, this is UB. That is the first one, your under bust. The next is your waist, and this is BL, your blouse length. All right. Now let's start. Now right at your under bust. Right at your under bust, you need to mark out your measurement. What measurement are you marking out? The waist measurement. You do not need the bust measurement anymore. You need to mark your waist measurement. In this calculation, it is giving me 9. According to what I have, then right at the blouse length, mark your hip. Okay, mark the hip measurement. Right at the hip, right at the blouse length. Now the hip for this measurement is 40. Okay, the hip measurement is 40. When you divide it by 2, it gives us 10. Sorry, divide it by 4, it gives us 10. Then the next thing, you add your sewing allowance of 2 inches, which is what I did. I marked right now. Take your tape, your rule, sorry, and connect. Sorry, this rule is too small. Let's get a bigger one. You place your rule, connect it. Okay, remember, the upper part of this dress, we are getting there. We concentrated on the fitted part first. Okay, so you connect your under bust to your blouse length straight. Definitely has to be slanted. All right, now this is it. Having slanted this, if you watch your fitted basque part of it, it is fitted. So from your waist, you indicate, you can either go with from your waist, you mark 3, 2, 4, 5, whichever one you want. But know that it cannot be the same length with, that is 3 and 4 that I marked. We'll be using it to curve it. Whichever one we feel is okay, we will go with it. All right, now remember I said you can mark 2, you can mark 3, you can mark 4, then use your French curve and curve it. Some of the Basque queens, some will be sharp, some will not be sharp. This particular one is not sharp. You can see how it is. All right, so this is it. Now, it's all matter of choice. You can keep curving if you want. If it's not curving enough, you want it more curvy, you can curve more. All right, but just bear it in mind that from the waist, you don't use the distance from the waist to the blouse length. You cannot use all of them. You either divide into two to curve. Now, this is our upper part. That upper part that has gathers, that have drawstrings by the shoulder. This is the upper part. Now, important of this upper part is that you'll be able to know the length of what you'll be cutting. Okay. Now, this is the middle. The down part, you already know it is gathers, okay, which you just cut gathers and join. So, having gotten our upper part, we need to cut. All right, but first, this is our front. We need to indicate where this is our front because we still need to cut the back. Now, the cutting, we are to cut the fitted parts. Later we'll come to the upper part of it, but first we are cutting. All right, now whichever one you choose is your choice. Okay, if you want it more sharp, your choice. More fit and more pencil, your choice. More sharp, more pointed, your choice. Curvy, your choice. Whatever you want, feel free at this point, especially in between the waist to the blouse length. Okay, now having gotten this, we need to cut the back part of it. Remember, the back of this dress has zip. The majority of these styles, the back of them has zip because the waist part of it has, from the underbust, to the waist, needs to be very fitted. How will you wear it if it is fitted? Therefore, there is zip allowance. Okay, now first thing first, whenever you're dealing with a zip allowance dress, you mark out your zip allowance before you do any other thing. Remember that. Okay, so for this dress, I'm going for 1 inches. Okay, 1 inches. Guys, if you have not subscribe to my channel. This particular dress, I'll be sewing it on a live stream. I'll be streaming live and be sewing this dress. This is a customer's order. Okay, so this is the zip allowance. All right, this is the zip allowance. I've marked it and I went for 1 inches. Once you mark your zip allowance, you place it. Remember what I usually say. What you use for your zip allowance is matter of choice, but it should not be too much. I don't think it should not exceed 2 inches as your zip allowance. Okay, depend on what you can work with and what you're comfortable with, what you're, whatever you can manage, but it should not exceed 2 inches. But for this video, I am using 1 because I can work with 1. All right, so having curved it, I'll just need to trace it. The difference between the both of them is just the zip allowance, nothing else. Okay, now this is my front. I've used my front to trace the back of it. Remember, the difference is zip allowance. So having gotten to this extent, the next thing I need to do is, for the back, if you think the back should not be pointed too much, or maybe because you don't want it to be on top on your hip, you can easily reduce it just like I did. Okay, you can easily reduce it. You use scissors and cut. All right, now once you're adjusting this, there is something important you should know, which is what I'll be showing you right now. Okay, when you place this back together, all right, you see this part I'm showing you right now. Please, it must be even with the front, with the back, you know. Whatever design you're doing, this part must be the same with the front, the back. Every other part can differ, no problem, but that particular part must be even, because that is the joining part between the front and the back. Okay, now this is our upper part. Having achieved the fitted part, this is our upper part, that part that is free, that part that has gathers, the upper part, like you're saying. Now remember, from the shoulder it's 13, which is the under bust. All right, now what I'll do is add 3 inches. Why am I adding 3 inches? 3 inches is for the joining allowance and for freeness. If you watch this dress, it is free. Okay, it is not going off the shoulder, but it's not fitted on the shoulder, so I'm going for +3, which gives me 16. All right, now what will be my width? What will be my width? Now the shoulder of this dress is 16. When I divide it by 2, it gives me 8. Okay, now that 8, let's go. If you watch the shoulder, you can see it has drawstrings. Right, it has drawstrings on the shoulder, and when you do that, when you stretch the ropes on it, it gathers. Okay, so because of that, I will need my shoulder to be SS, so I'll be adding 15, giving me total of 23. Now that I added 15 does not mean you cannot add more or less, but have it in mind that whatever is your shoulder needs to be doubled. You get me? Whatever is your shoulder needs to be doubled. You can add between 10 to 20. Okay, it's matter of choice. Whatever you want, it is still okay. All right, so for me, 15 is very much okay for me. All right, and the height will be 16. All right, the height that will be cutting will be 16, and the width or the wideness will be 23. You get me? Good. So the width will be 23. So this is what I'm working with. I hope you understand how I got to 16 and 23. So for this paper will not go for our, looking at it, the height works, but the width, it doesn't get, it's not up to what we need. So now there is something else. This 16 needs to be double. Why? Because of the front and back. Now if you cut 16 for the front, you can equally cut 16 for the back and join it. But if you don't want, I would advise you cut it straight. You know, front and back should have 1. That is 16 times 2, which will give us 32. All right, the height should be doubled because it is for the front and back, and in this case you don't want joining at the shoulder, rather you want to cut the front and back together. So we are having 16 times 2, which gives us 32 inches, and our width still remains the same. I hope I did not confuse you guys. Yeah, so this is what I'm trying to show you. Okay, this is how it should be. Let me place it very well. I usually tell you, if you're a beginner or you're trying to try out new things, the best way to do that, it is through your pattern paper, using your pattern paper. Now if you're not getting it with your pattern paper, you can never get it when you cut it on fabric. Except you have excess fabric to waste, you can go ahead. But when it comes to new things, fabric, pattern paper is the best to go with it. Now this is the pattern paper. I've cut it straight. Okay, so remember, looking at the underbust, all the underbust to, it is pleated or gathers, whichever one. So what I'll just do is use tape and hold this down. I've held it down. Okay, now you can see the middle. This is the center. Let's fold it as if you're folding it to the back. You see, folding it alone, it is giving me, it is giving me the picture of what I'm making, that I'm getting it. You get me. What I'm doing right now, you can see clearly I am getting what I'm doing. Okay, I'm still in line. It is still going, it's showing exactly what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, now the shoulder, when you draw it gathers, but if not, you can see it comes together. Now this is it. I hope you understand. You can see I folded this paper into two. Now when you have drawstring strings on it, you do not need to it shouldn't be fitted. Okay, and when you cut it together, it will still give you the perfect result. Like I said, the fitted part of this dress, it's either curved properly or it is sharp, whichever one. Now after this, next thing is to cut gathers. Gathers is what you join down here, and the dress is ready. I hope I'm able to, explain this easily. But if you have questions, drop it on the comment section. This particular dress is a client order. Once her fabric reaches me, I will be live streaming and be making this dress. All right. So if you have not subscribed, do subscribe to my channel. So when I go live, you will be notified. For the sleeve and the armhole, it is very easy. Once you fold it, you hold by the side and sew. With this method, it is 30 minutes, your dress is ready. Very easy. Remember, the fitted part has to be doubled. The fabric should be double. If possible, close tail it or gum or tail it, whichever one. But let the fitted part have a little bit of thickness in it. All right.